The regular meeting of the commissions and persons with disability is called to order. I am Francine Aona, chairperson for the commission. It is now 12:33 on August 13, 2026. We are meeting via Microsoft Teams, video teleconferencing. We also have the physical location at the Cameron Center for those who want to come in person. So for the record, Staff Secretary Angela Danish will be taking roll. We need 5 commissioners present to make quorum. All members joining virtually will need to have their cameras on at all times. So, Angela?
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. When I call your name, please respond if you are present. For those attending virtually in accordance with the Sunshine Law, please also state the names of anyone else present in your location. Commissioner Crystal Thomas, she's running a little behind. Commissioner David Talent.
Here, physical location.
Commissioner Frank Barbosa.
Present, physical location.
Commissioner Linda Papalo is excused. Commissioner Patty Copperfield.
Present via online Microsoft Teams.
Thank you. Commissioner Victor Lessa.
Present, physical location.
Vice Chair Lehua Chang.
Aloha Chair, Commissioners, physical location.
Here at the physical location.
Wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have 6 members and we have quorum to conduct the meeting. For the record, I'll now also note the Office on Aging staff members who are present today. County Executive on Aging, Rowena Daga. Good afternoon. Virtually with us today, we have Program Specialist Devin Conhide, as well as Office Operations Assistant Karen Sumer. From our Department of Corporation Counsel, Victoria Murakami. Good afternoon, everyone. Back to you, Chair.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. It's nice to see all of you, and mahalo to Vice Chair Lehua Chang for taking over last month in my absence. But yeah. Before we continue with the agenda, I would like to ask all of the commissioners to mute yourselves unless you are talking so that we don't hear any feedback or have any issues with being able to hear the speaker. Also, when you do unmute yourself to talk, please identify yourself for the record every time you speak. Angela will be doing the minutes of the meeting, and it is so helpful to her. And for the record, for everyone to identify themselves when they speak. At this time, we will open the floor for public testimony. Please note that all testimony should be relevant to the specific items on today's meeting agenda. We ask that each testifier state their name for the record, along with which agenda items they wish to speak on. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes per agenda item. Right now, we do have a testifier here with us today. And we do have testimony that was sent in letter form. So each speaker will be given maximum 3 minutes. And if there's anyone else outside of the public that would like to give or provide public testimony at this time, please do so. David, I know that you're here with us. You can do your testimony now, or you can wait till the agenda item comes up later. It's your preference.
I don't think there is an agenda item. That
Yeah.
it's in.
Then the testimony is limited to what's on the agenda.
So, Dave, I was thinking you were testifying on agenda setting, which is item 9. If you
Or like a future possible topic that the commission can take action. Yeah, cannot maybe. On page 6, yeah.
Yes, okay, number 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you all. I'm David Brown. I've been here for 53 years. I wasn't lucky enough to be born here. I helped start the Sierra Club on Maui. I helped start the Nala Heli program in the state, and I helped start Public Access Trails Hawaii. I'm representing myself and Public Access Trails Hawaii today. And what I'm trying to do is the Nala Heli program run by the state is a trail and access program. And they've always emphasized for over 30 years, trails. I want to emphasize accesses. And as you mentioned, we have no control over our funds whatsoever. And our funds come from off-road gas tax. People who spend money off-road pay taxes. Their taxes go someplace. It goes to trails and accesses. And right now, my first project is I'd like to have a wheelchair accessible starting from the Haina parking lot through the tunnel, past the tunnel, the far parking lot. The old Lahaina Highway or road intersects that parking lot, and it takes a few steps and you get up and you're on the old road, and there's a beautiful observation point. Now, I don't know, has anybody in here been to the Ojai Trail? Nobody. You have. Good, good. The Ojai is the same sort of thing. It's an observation point, and there are 3 or 4 nice spaces, and you can walk up. You can also walk a mile around the trail, which they say is ADA compliant. And so that seemed like a very low level. I'd hate to push somebody's wheelchair there. So I want to leave one thing. I want to leave my email address, which you have, and I'm interested in any of your guys' ideas and the other people that I'm talking to here on the other islands for any that you think would be good for an observation point. I'm not looking for a 10-mile trail. I'm looking for a 100-foot walk, push, asphalt, observation, look at the edge, look at everything. But that's it. Questions?
Any questions from the commissioners?
Yes, Commissioner Vessa here. So you were saying, I think it was a very good point that you brought up as far as the trail to be access, push, walk, or your wheelchairs or electrical devices that you use to go from point A to point B. That's awesome. Yeah, pushing people through those type of gravel and stuff that just is hazard. It should be made where it could be user friendly for everyone. Yeah. So with that, thank you for that. I mean, that's a good point. As far as that area, I'm kind of interested to see what you're talking about. I just can't remember.
Oh, hi. It's beyond Kakaloa.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's nothing, it's before the blowhole.
Okay.
Almost see the blowhole from there. It's just an overlook. And there, Ojai is a certain sort of rare bush that's kind of a bean family. And it blooms once a year, but it never blooms when you're there.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that'd be
So
awesome.
I'm really here for people to email me where they would like to see overlooks on state land.
Right. And also with that, I always push the issue of accommodations, accessibility every time, because that is one of the key focus points in the ADA. To be compliant with the law, the main thing is accessibility and accommodations. Thank you, sir.
So, Commissioner Vessa, and thank you, Dave, for the testimony. Any other clarifying questions, the commissioners?
Commissioner Frank Barbosa. Question for you. You're looking at the areas more into the state parks or regulated area or county park? all state trails, yeah, majority of the trails.
Okay, I'm a little confused. The air conditioning is
Oh,
disturbing my hearing a little bit. I've emphasized state because I am on the state Nalaheli. Not that they listen to us, but they would. Actually, when we get it all together, I'll be asking you for a letter to support whatever you decide. But I'd like to have a large number of possible things on all three islands that we can list and get accessible to.
Yeah.
And you mentioned one thing, I've led a lot of hikes here in my life, and I used to lead senior hikes. And the reason I stopped is the definition of a senior in Maui is a 40-year-old good-looking woman. And I'm 85, and so that wasn't suitable. But you have the wonderful park right down here that's completely paved. But also over in Lahaina, in the first traffic light, you go up there, there's a paved road that person has put in just for walking. You aware of that? Because I pushed wheelchairs on that. I forget the name of it. What is the name? It's the same name as the park right there. There's a beach park, and the other end, there's a traffic circle, and then there's about a 3-mile paved road next to a paved trail, widely paved, next to a water feature. Laniapoko, I think. Yeah, Laniapoko. So there are some paved areas here, and the zoo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Is there any other
I've got to run. I actually have another meeting. Thank you.
Take care, thanks for your
Okay.
testimony.
Thank you.
Is that your
Is
jacket?
that your jacket?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Your first one.
never know how cold I'm going to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brown. Really
I'll be
appreciate
waiting
it.
for your information.
Okay. Are there any other testimonies, testifiers out there from the public?
Yes, Carol Zoom. Are y'all able to hear me?
Yes.
Hi. I came to speak on new business, Disability Commission representation on boards and county boards. Hi, my name is Carole Zoom. That's CarolezOom. I come before this commission to raise an issue that belongs squarely in your mandate. The Maui Planning Commission is approving major coastal resort projects with detailed enforceable conditions on nearly every issue it considers important, except disability access. I'm particularly concerned about disability access to coastal trails like Kapalua Coastal Trail. In October of 2025, the Planning Commission approved a $16.3 million exterior renovation at the Four Seasons Wailea, including new swimming pools with conditions covering shielded exterior lighting, maintained beach access during construction. Nothing addressed disability access to the trail. In March of 2026, the same commission voted 5-2 to approve 137 new rooms at the Grand Wailea, attaching more than 30 conditions covering water use caps, traffic migration, protection of EV kapuna. After 7 years and 8 deferred votes, in which staff and commissioners had every opportunity to raise wheelchair accessibility, but no one did. 2 projects, staff reports, 2 sets of enforceable conditions. It's not a coincidence that happens by accident. That tells me that the planning department is working from a checklist, a real working instrument that staff uses when they write these conditions, and it does not talk about disability access. Water gets a checkbox, burial protection gets a checkbox, but disability access does not. I'm asking you to investigate this instrument and formally request that the planning department disclose the checklist, staff report template, or review criteria it uses to evaluate special management area applications and recommendations of conditions of approval, and see how disability access is or isn't currently addressed in that process. I'd like you to establish a long-standing liaison to the Planning Commission. Appoint a member of this commission or dedicated staff to attend Planning Commission hearings on coastal and resort development with a formal comment role in the record, not just 3 minutes of public testimony, competing with everyone else, but a standing presence at the table when conditions get written so that disability conditions are considered. I'd also like this commission to adopt a resolution to recommend that the Planning Commission incorporate the Hawaii Outdoor Development Areas Accessibility Guidelines called HODAG and the Kobayashi Department of Justice Accessibility Standard directly into the Special Management Area rules so that the staff report has no excuse to leave accessibility and people with disabilities off the checklist. The Planning Commission has proven twice that it knows how to hold developers accountable to detailed enforceable standards when it decides that an issue matters. I'm asking this commission to make sure that disability access matters to the Planning Commission, to make sure the Planning Commission cannot keep leaving us off the checklist without our commission, the Disabilities Commission, knowing about it and pushing back to ensure that accessibility is included in every project. My name is Carole Zoom. I'm here for Barrier Free Maui, and I'm happy to answer questions or be a part of any follow-up that would be helpful to your commission.
That was on the agenda for 5B, Disability Community Representation on County Boards and Commissions. Commissioners, are there any clarifying questions for Carole at this time?
Mahalo for your testimony. These are the reasons why we put this on the agenda, to have representation of those that know disabilities on commissions and boards, because not everybody understands the importance of inclusion and accessibility. Mahalo again for your testimony. Again, this commission, we are only allowed to, to recommend policies, and, maybe we can draft a letter somehow, or, work as a commission to see that there is somebody in place on these commissions and boards. So again, mahalo for your time and your testimony.
Mahalo, Carole. Is there
Thank
any
you.
other clarifying questions from any other commissioners? If not, thank you so. Oh, okay.
Commissioner Blessing here. I believe we've had a meeting with planning department before. So, but they do try to reach out and we try to work with them and then they want our input. The thing is trying to draft the letters and getting pushed through and everything like that. They do reach out, and I think we should maybe something to reach out to them where they can give them more information and be more project to so everyone can hear what they have with their.
Extremely important that your commission see the instrument that the Planning Commission is using. If it does not list specifically disability access as one of the commissions, they put $35 million worth of conditions on these last two programs from 25 to 26, and disability, not a single item was included in that. So I just really hope that someone from your commission will request the instrument they're using to evaluate programs to make sure it represents our community. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Thank you again, Carole. And when we come up with the agenda item, we will do further discussion regarding your testimony. So mahalo so much. Any other clarifying questions from the commissioners? I thank. Okay.
No, I just like to thank
Commissioner
Carole thank you, Carole, for your testimony. That was a great one. Thank you.
Mahalo, Frank.
Thank you so much. Is there any other testimonies from the public at this time? Hearing none, testimony is closed. Moving on to new business,
Oh, approval of meeting minutes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, the next agenda item is the approval of our minutes. I hear,
Vice Chair Chang.
Yeah.
Motions to approve the July 9, 2026 regular meeting.
okay, call my,
Oh.
Vice Chair Chang. The testimonies out there regarding the minutes, from the public. Hearing none, public testimony is closed. Okay. Vice Chair Chang.
Oh, Vice Chair Chang moves the motion to accept the minutes of the July 9th, 2026 regular minutes of the meeting with no corrections.
Do I hear a second? Okay, it's been moved and second by Commissioner Chang and Commissioner Nessa to approve the minutes of the July 9th. Any objections? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Okay, new business. Our next item is the tracking public accessibility concerns, which last month Commissioner Capello suggested exploring the creation of a system to document accessibility concerns. The goal would be to identify trends and recurring issues, helping inform future recommendations and strategies to improve accessibility. Is there anyone out there in the public who would wish to testify on this agenda item?
So one member online, Leland Bridge.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is Leland. I did have a few questions. I don't know if this is the right time for it, but I was curious to know what your mechanism is going to be for the tracker. Is it going to be something that's a little bit more automated, like a CIS system or a customer service database system? And how would all of the organizations use that to work together to address those problems? Because we would really like to make sure that we are using it and addressing the complaints that are on there to our best way, I guess. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there any questions from the commissioners for testify?
Not at the moment.
If not, thank you so much for your testimony. Oh, okay.
Commissioner Nessa.
Commissioner Lisa?
Well,
So I don't think you guys have said anything about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no one's
Yeah,
decided on anything at all at this point. So I think
Yeah,
that's pretty much
so
what we're dancing.
So I have a question. I'm sorry. The way that your rules are, the public can only give testimony before you guys actually talk. So that's why we have to raise our hands first. So maybe that might be something to think about, because I agree it doesn't make sense to ask you guys questions before you actually discuss, but that's how your schedule is. So
Chair, maybe what you can do is for something like this and ask for testimony before any action is taken. So, yeah, well, I mean, I think for this, I don't know how much action is going to take in now, because it sounds like you will need like,
A develop.
it needs to be developed through, like, if you're gonna have like a TIG to research this further. I feel like their questions a little way ahead of the process at this time. Sorry, so I think that's where it is, and then maybe come back.
I thank you so much for your testimony. We will take this into consideration and have a discussion on this.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, because we really, it's still, it was in the planning. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other testifiers out there?
So, still in the-
If not, testimony is closed. Any opposed? Okay, moving, unfortunately, Commissioner Portillo is not here today. This is, her agenda item. But, shall we, table this for now?
I think since it's still in the development phase, that we could talk about like what are with like accessibility and what we'd like to see tracked. And like we can come back to it, next month when she's here and see what she wants to add to it. But especially since we have people in the meeting that are, concerned about this agenda item, and like we're still in just like the fact finding kind of stages to see, what can be done or what we could suggest to be done.
Right.
I think we talked a little bit last month about this and just how, there are some mechanisms right now for like the county to track concerns, but they're not tracking ADA concerns, accessibility concerns. And is there a way to like incorporate that into a system we already have going? And then if that could be done, like where a concern came in through like the county's website, it could be directed to like the ADA office and this commission and, specific concerns for people. But, it's like, how do we get that system to document these public
Right.
concerns? And then who does it go to? And then from there, we could make recommendations for it to be compliant. So,
To turn this to the Department of Aging, is there any kind of tracking situation, or is it something that this committee, this commission?
But this is an item that's coming out of your commission. So it depends on what you are interested in. And and what you intend to do with that information. So this is an opportunity to discuss what it is that you want to do. Because we don't know exactly what it is that the commission is looking for.
That's right. Vice Chair Chang, and I think the intentions of Commissioner Paplo was that there is so many concerns of accessibility. And it was to put all these concerns into a tracking mechanism into one place so that there isn't a duplicate, or, that it's had already been tracked and it's already made known that these accessibility issues are at hand. How it's going to look, there's still much more discussion that needs to be happening with us, but I think what we can do today is, like Commissioner Thomas said, was to start that discussion on what we want to see on this matrix or this mechanism of, accessibility, because we can go up and down Wailuku County and start to checklist every place that doesn't have accessibility. And we'll have a matrix of 100 pages long within the next couple of days, because I can point out everywhere where there's accessibility issues. But I think, again, I'm just saying right now, it's like she said, like Rowena said, it's our time to discuss. What do we want to see on this matrix? Do we want to, the intention of Commissioner Paplo was to bring this, to create this, make sure that, not only we are here discussing it, but it's made known to.
So in the last meeting, was there any things that were discussed that was put on like a format, a tracking nature?
This Commissioner Thomas, we didn't have any specifics last time. I was looking at, and I didn't even know it existed till Rowena mentioned like that the county has the C-click fix. So if like accessibility concern was added to that, but then like we would want to find out like who gets those concern tracking, how could we get them forwarded to us so we know someone submitted an accessibility concern, and then that way we could then move forward with like a recommendation for it. Another like concern is that it is not a well-known thing that the county has on there, like how we would like promote it, like doing a promotion of like C-click fix. How we could do a promotion of it, like adding like QR codes at like county parks or like, on, electric poles or something where people could just, scan that to know that they can submit a concern.
Yeah, see, that's a good one, putting a QR code at parks to, if they have a concern, making, that's a good, suggestion that can be raised to mayor's office or other county agencies. I did also want to point out, and I don't mean to put her on the spot, Diana Maranza, she's our ADA coordinator for the county of Maui. And I'm not sure, because we don't always get questions or concerns regarding accessibility. We're mainly a resource and information, a place for resource and information, but we don't handle accessibility enforcement. But we also do have Diana as a resource when it comes to the ADA compliance.
Okay, thank you so much. That's where my direction was. Because it's good to talk about it, it's good to bring up suggestions, but who do we funnel it to? So thank you, Diane. But now that we know who we can work with, shall we decide some things today, or should
I think this
a caucus meeting with because Commissioner Popular brought it up, work with her, and then meet with Diana. Yeah, thank you, Diana. So that we can follow this information with her and then bring it back to the commission as to how we go about it. I mean, she may already know what direction this is going.
Can we
Ask the tracking.
her questions on the meeting and?
She's there as a resource brief.
Okay.
She has right now information you can, or you can reach out to her after the meeting.
Okay.
Before the next meeting and then.
So I think like it would be good to know from Diana, like what currently exists for, like does someone call in to her office if they have a concern, how that's tracked and monitored, so that we're not duplicating efforts, but if there is like a process that that's already there that we could help promote for people to make their concerns known, or having, like I said, I mean, you can like go on C-click fix and sidewalk and submit a concern, but it's not like a designated, like there's nothing designated for accessibility. So if accessibility or access were like added to that, and then if someone, I don't know if Diana would know, or if someone else at the county we could find out from, like when these come in through this system, how they're tracked and who gets notified. Because it would be nice to, as a commission, to be notified when the public submits a concern for accessibility concern.
Yeah. Did you want, so this is Diana. So I will say so people can contact me directly. So there is an ADA email, my personal email, and my phone number is public as well. So individuals do contact me directly. The C-Click fix, I'm not always copied on. It's routed to the department in which is appropriate. So that depends. I will say the biggest thing that comes up as issues are raised is we do receive like accessibility issues that are not county related. So it's generally referring the individuals to the correct contact to raise those concerns. Is a big part of the position as well. So I can't say there's a particular tracking of when I receive complaints. It's usually directing individuals or responding to individuals on the matters that we receive. And then C-Click Fix is directed to the appropriate departments to review and respond to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Diana. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to give an example of, like what Diana had mentioned of things that sometimes comes to the county, but they're not really county related. So I remember, one of our, access and assistance, our, service specialist got a phone call, and I'm not, it was about, something to do with a grocery store not having a certain type of accommodation, but that's out of our jurisdiction as the county. But you know, we did refer them to DCAP, and the communication and access board. That's usually the landing spot for the state, and they also oversee things like commercial, you know, type of projects. And so, you know, we do get issues like that, but we make referrals to other agents or for them to contact other agencies for assistance. And but we don't necessarily track that those issues. And so yeah, that would be something completely different in our scope as an agency if we had to track everything that comes in.
Yeah, Commissioner Thomas, I understand tracking everything that comes in is like, it's a lot, but it would also be nice to track, because like if several people over several years call about the same commercial business that's non-compliance, then it needs more than just like giving somebody else's number. You know, it would be nice to have like kind of a no wrong door kind of thing where like a complaint comes in and then we assist them to route it to like who it goes to, like if, you know, but I know that's not feasible for every complaint that comes in.
So you might have, because you are reporting directly back to the mayor's office. So it might be just more like, how can we help and suggest what are the other ways are?
Yeah.
Yes. And, you know, I'm sure Diana can help us too in this, because sometimes so many committees or so many things that are working on the same thing, and there's no route to that truth. And I think that's what we're getting at. I'm sure, like, may not be the county, it could be the state. That has a tracking situation. So can we either someone pick up the ball on this and work with Commissioner Carole, that she's, you know, this is her suggestion, and then kind of work together and work with Diana and then come back with some kind of information to the board.
Only limited to just if you're not doing that thing. Sorry, Sunshine Law. Sorry, I hate to be the damper on things that.
No, Sunshine Law.
Yeah, so if Commissioner Popolo is gonna be part of this, if you're not gonna do a TIG, I would prefer that you keep it to just 2 people, because 2 people can talk to each other without having a meeting.
Yeah, that's right.
Without doing a TIG, but if you want like more people involved, then now is the time for the body.
I agree in the discussion.
Right. And so as to be compliant, so.
Okay, so who's a volunteer to work with? Okay, Commissioner Chen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then maybe you can get back to us.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
Because if, you know, a bunch of us would do, we cannot.
Yeah.
Mahalo, everybody. Beautiful discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Buckles.
Yeah, I just had a question. So we have testimonies coming, and some of them from the state, so the county, about, for the county. So the ones that is not maybe to the county, what happens to those testimonies? Like today we had a couple. I feel it was basically generate more to a different division. See, this is county, we do assessments and give our whatever we decide or whatever we come up to our information due to like the other names. But when they draw attention to like state, not a county jurisdiction, state jurisdiction, what happens to their concerns? Like they came here.
Their concerns are still valid.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
because I was like,
Their concerns are still valid. Their testimony is still right.
so.
County
Yeah.
council
Yeah.
money.
There was no action taken.
Yeah,
So they forward their,
They don't.
they don't, not,
they don't.
yeah, no, I was trying to forget it. I
Yeah.
was thinking, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation a couple of times.
Yeah, if you want to tell that you should be making a testimony to the
Yeah, yeah.
state entity or whatever you can, we don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get them out.
Good question.
Thank you.
Any other discussion regarding, item 5A? All the commissioners. Okay. Do we have to do this in a motion to table it?
No,
Okay,
Jerry can just table it.
okay. Okay. Okay, moving right along, to our next item, 5B. Disability community representation on county boards and commissions. The commission may discuss the possibility of increasing disability community representation on county boards and commissions to help ensure that perspectives of individuals with disability are included in county advisory and policy-making processes. Is there anyone else from the community that would like to testify on this? You know, we already received the testimony from Carole. If there are no other testimonies, public testimony is now closed. Any objections? Okay. Vice Chair Chen, is this share? Would you like to
Sure.
share?
Mahalo Chair. So my recommendation to put this on this month's agenda comes from personal experience. And it's not, like I was mentioning earlier, it's not every board that's probably gonna need representation of someone with the akamai of, you know, disabilities. But there are certain commissions that I feel would benefit with having somebody that's knowledgeable with disabilities to sit on these boards and have a seat open specifically for these people. Who these people are, I don't know, but I'm sure that they are, you know, it comes from personal experiences, and then it's mainly, I brought this up to have somebody to sit on the police commission. I was arrested, and for the record, my case was dropped, okay, I'm not one criminal. But anyway, I was arrested and I was treated really, really badly by the Maui Police. I was treated as if I was an animal. I was forced and pushed into the backseat of a cop car. I had my period at the time and I wasn't allowed to put on pants. They took me to the hospital bleeding. treated me really, really terrible. And so I feel as if there needs somebody, and I disclosed the fact that I was disabled. Now we gotta remember that there are disabilities that cannot be seen. That cannot be seen, and we have to pay special attention to those as well. And not only the disabilities that we can see. I suffer from PTSD, depression, and anxiety, and I disclosed this to the officers at the time. They made a whole field day, they made fun of me. In and out of the hospital, I had to go to the hospital, get 13 stitches. I was the one bleeding, yet I was the one arrested. And I was treated very, very unfairly by these two police officers. One was a rookie just on the first case, yours truly. And it was since then that I urged the fact that I wanted somebody with the smarts of disability to sit on the police commission. But because it's too often I see, even just in the field, I see how people with mental illnesses or just people with addictions, and we got to keep in mind that addictions are disabilities as well, are treated when they're arrested, or because all the way until I was bailed out, I was treated very wrongly, very, very bad. I asked to put on shorts, they wouldn't allow it. When I got to the hospital, they told the triage nurse not to give me a blanket to cover up. They allowed me to continue bleeding without paying any attention to it. The triage nurse said she's a woman. I'm going to give her a blanket to cover her up. And it was from that moment that I've lost every respect for anybody with that sort of authority. Because these are the people that are supposed to serve and protect our community. I think that people with mental illnesses get treated the way I have. And so I brought this up to have somebody on the police commission. And the reason for it is they need to know, because before too late, if I were to call the police and the person I'm calling the police for has a mental illness, I will make it known to the dispatcher that this person has a mental illness. So please send somebody that knows how to de-escalate the problem. Send somebody that has the smarts, because if you don't, you end up killed because people think that you're just a menace. And so that is the reason for this. And I believe that the Planning Commission, like Ms. Carole's testimony also, would benefit having somebody with the smarts of disability. I just want to protect those that have disabilities that are not seen from police brutality. Too often we even have that one case on Molokai that I know the family personally, and he got shot and killed because they didn't understand what he was going through mentally. So, mahalo.
Commissioner Chang. Fortunately, there are many situations happening today in our society and into our daily living where we have complications of every walk of life, especially disability. We do have boards that are responsible for approving things to be done, like the testimony that Carole justified on regarding the Planning Commission, approving things to be done without any consideration for the ADA process for people with disability. We do have a lot of problems in reading the news regarding our police force, any type of force, that things are being done to people that are unstable, disabled. They feel that things are not going their way. So this is a very sensitive discussion. for this commission because we are responsible, this board, to be sure that we reach out to our mission boards that run the county, that run the state, that they are reminded of their professionalism, that they are reminded of the things that they need to be concerned with regarding disability, period. So this is a discussion that deserves, I believe, a letter to whomever, we can send this letter to all the commission boards, to the mayor, that this is a concern of this board, that some kind of protocol or some kind of, what shall I say, just looking at the testimony by Carole, that these things are happening, especially on the planning commission.
So, okay, so Chair, I'm gonna stop you a little bit
Yeah.
because I think there's some still background information that needs to be kind of flushed out before. Like, for example, the ADA accommodation and those requirements are necessary to Kilohana of the planning commission or for them to decide on that. It's more, I think, and then I think as she's, you know, where it used to be on the public works. So that's a separate department, a separate rules that they follow in the law, and then not necessarily the planning commission who has to determine whether they have ADA applications for that when they're talking about, and there might be an overlap somewhere, but I kind of want you to be careful on that. And then that number 2 is your advisory to the mayor and the council, not to the other commission. So if there's any concerns that come up, I think the best way communication for this board to do is whatever communication you decide to send, that you send it to the mayor and the council, then here are some concerns that were raised regarding the boards. And at the same time, also kind of be mindful that what your goals are for having a commissioner, like a commissioner requirement on every board or whatever boards that you're thinking of is gonna require a charter amendment, which is a pretty lengthy process. And you have to say, is this within their department's authority to be able to have that? And then what is the end result that you want? If you want someone in, for a police department to make sure that they have that they have training, regular training to be able to work with, someone who is going through a mental health issue and not treat someone like what Commissioner Chan has just told us about her experience, then it's not necessarily gonna be the police commission that's gonna be able to do it, right? So it comes from the department, right? So the department would have to have the training and policy in place that addresses those things. So then who does it go to so that is something that's implemented? Yeah. It's not necessarily gonna be the police commission. That might not be a most useful place to have someone there, not necessarily, it's great, but it's not a requirement for the police commissioner to have that. And then, right, so those are kind of, there's some overlap in this, it's.
No, I got you because primarily the testimony that we received from Carole is majority working with the planning commission and approving all of this, but
I'm
they're
saying
not
planning
taking into
commission,
consideration the ADA requirements in their approval.
and I'm saying that planning commission doesn't have to take that into consideration in their authority.
So,
Right.
okay, so our communication is primarily gonna be with the mayor's office.
With the mayor's office.
Okay, I just wanted to first say, thank you for being vulnerable and talking about it,
Yeah.
because when people don't talk about it, it just, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not visible. And then, so unfortunately, people with hidden disabilities, they're hidden, they don't get looked at. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your horrific situation with us. I would like to maybe write to the mayor's office and ask them for information on the disability training that gets
You can
So
ask
to
for all
the,
departments.
yeah.
What do,
Yeah.
what do every county employees get as
right,
disability?
yeah,
training?
because I think
Especially
with police department, I know they go through like CIT training, crisis intervention training. They used to have one that was named different that was specific for people with like mental health issues. And even I've worked with people with autism, you know, when you have someone nonverbal that can't communicate that looks like they should be, or people who are deaf, people, you know, I can't communicate the same way. It's detrimental to their health and liveliness when police get involved sometimes. So it should be a priority for that disability training, not a afterthought and not like something they get further on, but to have a rookie out there that obviously hadn't been, but even their training partner or whatever was the same. So asking the mayor's office, like what disability training employees get, specifically the police department, on interacting with people with disabilities would be something I would like to see us do. And then on the other, you know, part, asking the mayor's office, you know, how the commission, the planning commission, goes through what checklists and tools they use when they're going through a process, just so we know if there is an actual tool like Carole suggested, and if we can take a look at that tool. And I do think that while everybody's a little bit siloed and has their own, you know, responsibilities that they take care of with their commissions, I do think for systemic change sometimes, we do have to like shake things up and, you know, move things around. So even though it's not within the planning commission's jurisdiction to consider ADA, access should be maybe considered at all levels, and knowing what tools they use would help us to make recommendations to the mayor's office on how, when we're spending, you know, these millions of dollars of taxpayer money, we're not leaving certain taxpayers out because it's not an accessible project.
Property projects though.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas, and thank you. Because, you know, we get carried away that this board, in order to get our point across, will have to be directed to the mayor. As far as the letter of concern. Yeah, and yes, thank you, Commissioner Thomas, for putting everything into perspective. Really appreciate it.
See the world.
Yeah, so
There's somebody that raising their hand on the.
we're talking about maybe 2 letters.
It sounds like.
One
yeah.
regarding disability,
Yeah.
and then one regarding awareness to the commissions, and when they approve something, are they taking all these perspectives as far as disability is concerned in their approval?
Or if they're not required, then are they open to maybe having that? But then, like I said, just be aware that it might be a systemic change, but at the same time, that like the special management area permit, for example, is not gonna hinge on whether there's disability access. It's just gonna be, is it meeting those requirements to be able to build it? So it's like, again, it's a separate issue. So we'll just have that, and so then it's gonna be like, well, who's in charge of making sure the ADA is compliant? And how are they tracking it? What are the approval rights are like? So maybe it's also more of, can we get more information, how things are done in accounting when buildings are approved, the project approved? And at what point does ADA comes into play? Kind of thing.
Because permitting is it's multi-layers.
Yeah.
So you got the SMA piece, but then it doesn't stop right there.
Right.
There's also building permit and then decab review. That's where accessibility concerns comes into the
So just because it's gonna approve in the planning commission, doesn't mean that the project is like approved as an entire.
Yeah.
So if it fails in that section, then they can't move forward.
Right.
So, yeah.
Basically, they're looking at, I think, section 2.
Yeah,
That's
their
basically
yeah.
their
Yeah,
checklist.
yeah.
Okay, any other discussions regarding this, and is there
No, we got the 2 letters.
a motion to Drop a letter to the mayor regarding one situation. Two letters. Okay.
Vice Chair, I make motions to write the 2 letters to the mayor concerning this.
Second.
Yes.
Okay,
Commissioner Lissa.
second by Vice Chair Chang and Commissioner Lissa to drop 2 letters to the mayor regarding our discussion on disability. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay, thank you so much for all that discussion, commissioners. Moving on, unfinished business, and I'm hoping that he's still with us. We have a special fair day. Last month, we sent a letter to the mayor with accessibility recommendations. Before we do that, do we have any public testimony at this time regarding this agenda item?
Sure, you might want to save that until if Mr. Fujiwara is going to be doing a presentation or discussing the
Okay.
first, then wait until his part is done and then ask for testimony.
Okay, I see your beautiful face, Mr. Fujiwara.
Good
Mahalo for
afternoon,
being here.
Commission. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. I'm currently at the Honolulu International Airport, flying back to Maui. I didn't expect to have so many things on the agenda before me. I kind of planned it where I had enough time to have discussion with you folks. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to board my plane soon. And in comes one of our fair associates, Mr. or Kumuhula Jaden Isobe, to take my place if this discussion goes beyond 15 minutes. I don't have a presentation for you folks today, but I do want to start opening up dialogue to see what, you guys, I wasn't privy to the first conversation, so I'd love to know what you thought worked, what you thought didn't work, and then we can kind of go through this list together and try and accommodate as much as we can. I can't promise we can do it all, but we'll definitely try our best. I know last year was our first, so thank you for giving us the grace to learn and work through all of this. We know we can definitely do better in terms of accessibility, and so we are totally here to listen and absorb what you guys saw and what you guys think needs to be fixed or done better.
You know that the letter that we sent highlighted a few ideas relating to the accessibility, communication, and collaboration. And so with the shared goal, were you able to look at that letter or?
I don't have it in front of me, but you know what's really funny is we don't have an ADA chair this year at this moment. The person we had in place last year, she stepped off last week. And so I would love for you guys to recommend somebody to guide us through this. If you have someone in mind who is, wants to collaboratively work through this and be our ADA chair.
Okay, all right. Well, we have room for discussion, and on that part, we'll get right back to you really quick, like yesterday. Okay. If you don't
We
mind.
haven't, yeah, and we have an ADA plan that I can share with whoever wants to become the chair, because they would have to help us update that plan as well for this year. And that's part of our parks permit in order to put on the fair. So it's a huge component that the county takes very seriously and is part of their checklist for anytime they do big events. So know that the Parks Department does have you guys in mind after hearing all of your conversations this afternoon.
Mr. Fujiwara, just a quick question. Are we talking about a paid position within your organization, this ADA chair, or is this a volunteer position?
It was volunteer, I guess, in the past and last year as well. But if somebody needs to be compensated, we can look at our budget and see what we can do.
Oh, no, I was actually asking you. Just wanted to make sure, so that they're not really, like, I don't know if necessarily they could recommend you a person, but what the members can do instead is like disseminate the information, give it out there and see if anybody would want to apply for that position. And you'd want to have them on board, I guess sooner the better, you're saying?
How often?
Yeah.
Yeah, how often do you guys, you folks, will you need the person? Or how many
in the past, the committee would meet all the time. Unfortunately, like we don't really work that way. So I'm kind of a little more organic in that I'm empowering the chair to do what is necessary and come to us whenever we need. The fair trailer is always open. It is not ADA accessible. I would probably have to find somebody to carry them up the stairs, but we can meet under the nice shade under the side of it. Now that I'm talking this through, I'm so sorry. But yes, we have ample meeting space and time to collaboratively work together with our team.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daryl. With that in mind, and with what you've shared, we as a commission board can look at that and maybe make ourselves available to discuss with you, speaking for all of us, to work with you to help coordinate the concerns of the day that us. Yeah. So, okay. Any other questions that we have?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, Commissioner Thomas, I just wanted to get clarification. I had a friend try to attend the special fair day last year. She's a manual wheelchair user, but because she didn't have a caregiver with her, they refused her entry. They said she wasn't able to attend because she didn't have a caregiver, but she's independent. She drives, she goes everywhere by herself without assistance. So I just wanted to try to get clarification for that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner. Yes, last year, that was our guidance to everyone, is that we wanted them to be accompanied by someone just in case of any event. Just like last year, for instance, even though she was independent, we had some wheelchair situations. And if she had somebody to assist her, it would have been very helpful at those times. But we definitely know that that process, it was brand new, and we definitely have to comb through it and make it better. We might do it the same way, we might not. We definitely know we want to invite more people this year. Because it was our first time doing it, we wanted to use a number that was doable for all of us to be able to handle and not go so big all at one time. So we only allotted 1,000 people to come last year. We recognize that we can definitely take in more. And so we'll definitely take your feedback into consideration moving forward. Because yes, we do want to get as many people to come as possible, but for last year, that was just part of the criteria to just help all of us, right? Because we didn't know about how manpower works, we didn't know, about support in that, right? We wanted to make sure that whoever came had somebody trustworthy to be with them and not like one of our stranger volunteers, like, hi, or, to do whatever they needed, but without support. So we definitely, like I said, want to do more this year. So hopefully we can branch out and allow for individuals to come.
Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, Commissioner Thomas, thank you for that. I appreciate some insight into how that decision was made. I do think that your guys's registration form so much better than the paper that had been years before. I know that wasn't you, but the use of technology, to be able to register easily was really, I think, great. On the same note as he was mentioning with the one-on-one, I think that looking now into this next year, just confirming there is a special fair day. Like, like we're talking in like, I feel like maybe it's hypothetical until I hear you say it. There is.
We are planning to have it.
Okay.
It is a very special day for us. And I didn't know this, but none of the other islands do this either. Like Maui's the only one that does this. And I think that's so amazing and special that people thought of this. What I'm hearing the other islands did before was they would let their sponsors come and, you know, and have a free for all. So I'm very proud of what our Maui has done and continues to do. In that, we are definitely going to have it. And just recently we found a couple actually, who may be interested in chairing it because we lost our chair last year for Special Fair Day as well as our ADA chair, which is two different positions. And so we're meeting with them next week actually to kind of talk through what we need from them. And I feel like they're gonna say yes. It's very I feel like it's doable for this couple, and they said they're very familiar with this commission. They came to the last meeting actually to help with move something on your agenda related to their family, and so they also noticed that we were on the agenda too. So they're very abreast on what you guys are doing and how you feel about or what you're passionate about and what you care about. So I'm very excited to meet with them next week. But yes, we are gonna do it.
Awesome. I think that definitely looking at those ratios, like if someone 1-to-1 can attend independently, there were also issues last year where people who go to a group service, so there's 1 staff to 3 participants, they weren't allowed to come either, which was really disappointing for those clients. But you know, and just knowing that like in those situations, those staff are like, they work with 3 people all the time and they can handle it at the fair. So like being able to have like different ratios of staff to clients in need would be really, you know, so many more people would be able to come because they can't come 1-to-1 if they're in a group that day. So having that, some of my feedback that of how things were split up last year with the different colored lanyards and the different stations, that, you know, I understand like the idea behind it with crowd control, but at the same time, what I saw was it split off people from their friend groups, you know, and then we had people who weren't really interested in the entertainment tent and just wanted to ride. And like, then they were told they couldn't ride because it wasn't their color group time. So, you know, maybe something else, if crowd control at that level is needed, a different type of system to you know, split people off to different groups, you know, or doing a preference assessment to say like, I really want to ride rides, and then they're just, you know, not told it's not your turn. So that was some of my feedback from last year. So.
Thank you so much. Loud and clear. We definitely hear you.
Are there any other, I know you're getting ready to move along and Jaden's over here, but do we have any other discussion for Daryl at this time?
No, but mahalo, Daryl, Vice Chair Chang, mahalo for, you know, like, it's really, really good to hear that Maui's the only one that does this, that has such a Maui Fair Day. So it does pay a lot of attention to those with disabilities. So we mahalo you and your staff. Mahalo.
The letters work, you guys. I got my letters like, oh, I better go and reply to this. I'm gonna be in trouble. So send those letters, you guys. You send those letters out.
Okay.
Have a safe flight.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Mahalo nui.
Thank you, and safe journey back home.
Back to the fair trailer.
Okay, bye, Jaden. Thank you for standing by.
They have
There. Any other questions? Oh, yeah. Maybe you can hang on, Jaden. Is there anyone else out there with public testimony that would like to testify on this? Fair day? Okay, hearing none, public testimony will now be closed. Okay, but do any of you have any other questions for Jaden regarding our Fair Day? Okay, but thank you so much for standing by, Jaden. We really appreciate it.
Excuse me, sorry about that.
Commissioner Barbosa has a question.
Commissioner Barbosa, is there a way that I could get a hold of you? For this fair? Are you the new commissioner? Deputy or for the fair?
To be on the committee for accessibility or
No, I guess every year they appoint a deputy for the director for the county fair, yeah?
For the special fair.
or for the special fair.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yes.
Okay, sorry
So
about that.
no, yeah, we still have those two positions open, the special day fair and the accessibility chairperson. So those are two big spots that we're kind of just trying to fill right now. And then I think if anybody has anything that we could do on accessibility throughout the fair, I know we had an area for ADA and for ADA drop-off, and we made sure that the areas were accessible to first aid and all the areas around the fair. I think one of the big things that we're going to ask EK Fernandez is to limit the amount of bumpers on the electrical cords, because that was a little hard on the wheelchair access. But any other feedback from you guys?
I think just for special fair day specifically, there was feedback from, and she might be online, transportation, that because of the colored lanyards and the different entry points, like some people, and they might have accessibility issues, were at the wrong entrance and being redirected to go to their appropriate entrance. So like just acknowledging that people coming to special fair day have special challenges and special needs, and if we don't need the different entrances for different like populations, like letting people enter wherever they are and not be buses be redirected or vans be redirected to different places would be, I think, helpful. But and then I know somebody did mention the electrical bumpers being hard to push over. I know in our letter it talked about accessibility for pathways, seating areas, attractions, restroom facilities. I'm not sure if anybody had brought up was there any specific concerns on? Can't remember if there was other specific accessibility concerns, but.
Okay.
I think, Vice Chair, I think the biggest concern was just the accessibility all around. Yeah, just the bumpers was a big one, because even somebody that can actually walk get a hard time going over the bumpers as well. But there are a lot throughout the fair grounds. But I think these key points that was written in the letter to the mayor by our wonderful chair is what I think basically what we want to see transpire is just the accessibility and the crowd management, big thing. Like Commissioner Thomas just mentioned, just not rerouting the buses to go here, there, and everywhere. Just let them get off where they're at. I mean, it just makes it a little bit more accessible for him. Accessibility throughout the fairgrounds, I think, is a big one too. So the key points that were made on this letter are the points that I think we should, or your new appointed ADA person or the chairperson on your board should consider. It's just the points that we presented in our letter. mahalo nui for taking the time.
I think the biggest concern really is that special day that is highlighted for our community who are disabled, and for them to come and enjoy the time that they wouldn't on a regular fair day. Because I know that there will be accessibility for them, but when you have how many thousands of people on the regular fair days, it becomes very difficult. So the biggest push is to make our people, our community that have ADA concerns, attend this special time that has been, made for them. So that's our biggest concern, our biggest push, and I know it'll be great. Anyone else with any concerns? No. Thank you so much, Jaden, for being with us.
Thank you, everyone.
Conversation. Mahalo.
Okay, mahalo.
Okay. Okay, if there is no other concerns, we'll just update this when time and this. Item 6B. Accessibility issue at the Maui County building. Are there any testifiers out there who want to add to this, testify to this item? Seeing none, public testimony is now closed. Any objection? None. Okay. I open the floor to the commission to discuss any thoughts or comments regarding the accessibility issue to the market.
Did we get any response to this hearing? Not yet. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
So Vice Chair Chang, so if we haven't gotten a response, we're gonna have to table it until we do get a response to the letter, or what? Do we keep sending letters? To get an answer. Because I mean, this has been on agenda since September 24th, 2025. And so I think, I mean, I don't know if it's, I don't know, like, where is it? Where is this letter so far? Like, how far has this letter gone?
Yes, I will.
The follow-up?
I will personally take this into consideration and get in contact with the mayor's office to see where we are and what area is sitting there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that we,
Whose desk we gotta go look under the
Yeah.
desk and take a look? So I'll-
this is a concern of our commission. And, but we sent 2 letters already, correct?
Yeah.
So I will personally going to,
Oh, wait,
because
can we get someone to authorize you to go and follow up to represent the commission, just so we have already.
okay, I'm sorry.
To make a motion, yeah. Authorize you to do that.
Okay, do we need to put a vote?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Vice Chair Chang motions that
Yes.
Chairwoman Aona goes to
To the county administration.
Yeah,
I think we
county
can make it
administration.
broad, because then it might actually be on somebody else's desk. So
Yes.
then Chair can
Exactly.
follow up.
Yeah.
I said this.
Okay, it's been moved in second by Chair, Vice Chair Chang, and this is that, Chair, Aona will, find out, who's sitting on this letter. Or, where we can get a response regarding, this item, because that it's everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Okay, our next item, proposed housing development, Kalohana Village. Is there any public testimony out there regarding this agenda item? Seeing none, public testimony is now closed.
Chair, can you just confirm that, Commissioner Lessa just left them in that 158? Just for the record.
With this, for the record, Commissioner Lessa has left the meeting for today. Mahalo. Okay. I think hearing none, I close the public testimony. Are there any objections? None. Testimony is not. Okay, at our June 10th meeting, the commission received a presentation from the Kalohana Village and had an opportunity to discuss the proposed project. As a reminder, a copy of that presentation has been included in today's meeting materials for reference. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for any additional comments, questions, or feedback from the commissioners. As I understand, this item was tabled at the previous meeting so that I could participate in today's discussion. Mahalo for that. You're welcome. Reviewing the presentation and the meeting materials, I continue to have questions regarding two areas. First, whether the proposed development is consistent with the terms and intent of the lease. And second, whether there are any legal considerations relating to housing development intended to serve persons with disability. I would like to hear the commission's thoughts and any comments or questions. Commissioners. With that, I'll open the floor for discussion. Thank you so much for waiting till I got back to the discussion. My concern with the Kalohana Village, and I hope that I tried to reach out to her this week before the meeting, and I didn't get all that. But the biggest concern that I have is the 22 homes, and I think we kind of finalized that I believe in what they said, that every home will have ADA accessibility. This one thing that I did want to question was there was this ADM. And ADM capability. See, when they brought up the 17 homes, and when we questioned them on whether all the homes were going to have ADA capabilities, I believe their answer was yes. But they still continue to say that the remaining homes will be open to the public, not making any mention that it will be solely for families that have members in the ADA capacity. I mean, whatever they have. Because going back to the lease, it is a directive that this 22 homes or project be primarily for people with disability. The second thing we asked for, did they reach out? Is there a waiting list? How are they going to get this list of people that may be there? Because in a lot of discussions, there are people out there that are in need of homes with family members that have ADA or some kind of disability. So that's what I am questioning. That's what I want to know. Have they gone beyond that to work with agencies that will provide them this information of people that are looking for homes when they decide to do this project? Because primarily what I only see is the concentration on these 7 homes.
Yeah.
Seven homes of, I mean, what, yeah. It's all good. It's all the people that will be living there, the people that will be helping, the caregivers. I mean, it's also, but that's, for me, that is just the primary concentration of this project. There's not too much concentration on the 17 other homes that are being considered. And that is my biggest concern. Have they gone the mile to reach out to agencies to find out if we do have people on the waiting list for homes? I mean, there's so much of that out there. There's so much agencies, so much groups that are working on all these.
So.
Yes, Commissioner Chan.
Mr. Chan, I'm kind of confused because they have these. So I was under the assumption, and I don't know if everybody else, but these were homes that would be lived in by individuals with disabilities, you know, just like a regular home. But according to this slide here, it's only rooms within a home that are designated for people with disabilities, plus a caregiver in a separate room, right? So according to here, it's a 5-bedroom, 2 is for staff, and 5 is for adults with disability. There's going to be a 3-bedroom with 2-bath home, 2 rooms for adults with disabilities, and 1 room for a living caregiver. So I'm confused because I thought these homes were designed to be homes for people with disabilities, but it looks like there's caregivers that are going to be.
I think you
Well,
just have similar concerns.
Two separate things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a
There's going to be, the 17 homes that I'm talking about are open to.
For individuals to live.
Or to anyone
Or anyone to live.
that can, it's going to be affordable.
Okay.
Affordable for them to purchase or to rent. I think it's rental. I think they're talking.
So 5 of those are just this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But these concentrated 7 homes are really geared for disabled people
Right.
that cannot.
Those are your like certified,
Right.
like.
Certified, yeah.
So.
And we there will be caregivers for it.
Okay.
And then there will be a partner of health, or there's someone,
Yes.
almost like a doctor that will be,
Well, not like a doctor,
not
but
a doctor, but yeah,
yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Is that it, the on-site housing support specialist? Is that the person?
Yeah.
And
So-
that's different from these DOH licensed homes.
Yeah.
Like the DOH licensed homes have,
5 bedroom to 3 bedroom.
right, and there's certified staff that live in those houses and monitor those houses. And then the other, like the housing support specialist, I think would be on site to help people find resources and potentially move into one of the other 17 houses. But those 17 houses, and I think that's this, you guys have the same question, is like you thought that those 17 houses would be for people with disabilities to apply to live in,
Oh, no.
but it's community.
There's 22, there are 22 homes
Yes.
altogether. For me, their push is for just the 7 homes that have all of this.
The extra
talking
care,
about,
yes, the
yeah,
DOH
capabilities,
license.
the caregivers, and then there will be 17 homes that will be affordable units. And I'm trying to look for that word that they used.
AMI,
Yes.
so
Why?
that's just income based, so different
Okay.
AMI levels means like you potentially have like different higher incomes for
Okay.
some of them.
Affordable, so, and it doesn't say, it's like it's open to
Everybody.
everyone.
So
And
it's not-
it shouldn't be that way because the lease doesn't call for that.
Well, yes and no, because federally, I think if they have federal funds for housing, you can't discriminate, which means you can't only have people with disabilities live there.
They keep pushing that in my face, I know
Yeah,
that.
and I honestly, from a person who works with people with disabilities, I don't want to see them have a village out there that's just a village of people with disabilities, that those people with disabilities don't get to leave that village and interact with other community members. So we don't want them segregated like into a population that, you know.
That part I understand, and that part I'm looking at that 7 homes.
Yeah.
But for the other rental homes, I mean, I can be a productive family and I can have a child that's blind or a child that's deaf.
Well, we had that
But the
testimony
rest-
from
the
that
rest
parent
of the
who was bathing their
family-
kid outside.
Yeah.
When there could be a 3-bedroom home here for them. And yeah, I mean, to find out if when they go through these application processes, you know, if there are people that are on wait lists on other lit housing because there's no accessible unit and these are all accessible, then, you know, maybe that should be like a priority to get people who are looking for these accessible homes, but not necessarily prioritizing people because they have disabilities. If, you know, you can kind of balance that out.
And that's where, when I say disability, I don't mean that just like those 7 homes concentrated on the, you know, but we do have families that have lower, and they did say that all the homes will have ADA accessibility. But I would hate someone to be able to get into this affordable that have no detective office. I mean, they're using that like, if you have regular people live, then the people that are disabled will learn how to.
We want an integrated society, not segregated. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's that balancing act. I also like look at it from a perspective of like, you know, when we are like having our clients around other people, we want to we can't do it for everybody, but like staff are background checked and, you know, we licensed staff are like, they're licensed for a reason. We want to protect our vulnerable population, you know, so for me, like, okay, yeah, anybody can live there, but like, can you apply to live there if you're, you know, have a open, or if you've had a case of, you know, in the adult protective.
I guess I'm so protective of them using this for other directions, I guess, for me. You know, and I know about the federal law and about this, and I'm surprised, you know, like when the lease was given out, I mean, to say specifics, and we all know, if they're gonna use federal funds, well, maybe they're not gonna use federal. Oh, yeah, once they touch the federal funding, then they kind of discriminate on it. And that's where it gives them the push.
But it's a good thing to have like a family of 5 low income that like needs a place to live and can afford this affordable rental, and the kids get more engagement with people with disabilities. So maybe there's no one disabled in their household, but being in that community and being around other people with disabilities just creates better people.
And I am all for that, if they can gather those people. Once they go off that list of people, then I get tantrums. Then I get concerned.
It's out there.
I get concerned. It's a delicate situation, and that's my only drawback. I hope that they are moving with this project and they get the funds, because this is the 3rd time that they come to the table in a project. And their layout to me is great, how they have it. Yeah, different designations of color, things, so.
Vice Chair Chang, just wondering, I mean, I think I get your frustration, Chair, I get your frustration but like Commissioner Thomas said, I think a community where there is diverse ability, diverse as disability or, ability, together and makes better people, and have children play together with disabilities. And I get Chair's frustration because, we don't want to call this an inclusive community or the community that is basically for those with disabilities, but have community units available for those outside the disability. But this weekend, I believe on the 14th, or tomorrow, La'akia has their night market, yeah, so we'll have a presentation table there. So maybe there's a time that maybe we cannot all show up together. So let me go and then you guys can come after. Maybe just to see if there'll be further
Very good.
ways people can
Vice Chair
answer questions.
Chang, I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion, based on do we need a motion or can we just table it?
It's your call, Chair.
Yeah, what action would you take? Or you can just table it and then just have it all like a recurring.
Yes, I don't think we need any motion. We'd like to keep it on the agenda before, for discussion. Thank you. And Chair Chang is up to her good opinion. Okay.
I going first, you guys call me down. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys happen to be there as a member of the parliament.
Yes.
As long as you guys don't talk core business.
Yeah, no, but it's right up from where I live, so, but I have to see if I'm busy. But anyway, okay, so with that in mind, we'll just move on to the next agenda. Our county aging.
So our fiscal year 27 budget went to effect on July 1st, 2026, and included in our budget are a number of grants with Habitat for Humanity, Hale'Maho'olu Personal Care Subsidy Program. Hale'Maho'olu also has a mobile meals program for individuals with disabilities who don't qualify for our program, our Title III care program. Hale'Makua Health Services is working to establish a adult day health program on Molokai. So the County of Maui has provided them with some startup needs to establish that center. Lanai Kinaole also is one of our grantees again this year, providing in-home supportive services on Lanai. Maui Adult Daycare. One thing about Maui Adult Daycare is they not only provide services to older adults 60 and over, they also provide adult daycare services to individuals with disabilities under the age of 60. So if they're 18, I've been to the center and they have individuals who are in their 20s at Maui Adult Daycare. Molokai Rural Health Association provides senior activities and services to Kupuna and Molokai. Nahu Aloha has a new program, an on-demand transportation program. It's for adults ages 60 and over. And Kelea Foundation, we also have a grant with them, so to help them with their centralized location, so that they can provide classes, support groups, and have community activities in centralized location. As far as personnel, we do have a number of vacancies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vacancies. We're working to fill them right now since the start of the new year just happened. Many of these vacancies are, they haven't been, they're not being filled at the moment because we're facing reductions in funding. So those are positions we're going to keep on hold, and then We're trying to fill at least 3 positions at this time. And then moving on, you know, it's in the report, you can read this on your own, but I also provided a summary of our department internal projects and initiatives. And I also shared a chart with our different service types that we offer or provide to seniors 60 and over, the number of clients and the number of units and the sum of the costs. In this chart, it doesn't really include all of our home delivered meals participants because we're still working with the database contractor to resolve some of those reporting issues. But it does give you a snapshot as to the types of services we provide and how much we spend on these services. Also included in this report are the call volume types, outgoing, incoming calls, emails, home visits, in-person walk-ins, and any kind of correspondence we get through our website. As far as our healthy aging program, we have a diabetes self-management program that we're working on with Mauliola Pharmacy. They're starting to get that program together, and we're hoping that the first cohort will happen in September. Cancer Thriving and Surviving with Pacific Cancer Foundation was set to go on August 6th, but they're still looking for participants. So sometime later this month, they'll be able to start. Enhanced fitness classes are still going. As far as Molokai updates, this is kind of old, but we were supposed to go to Molokai tomorrow for our Kupuna Fair,
Right.
but because the tropical storm Lala and there was so much uncertainty, we decided to cancel.
Yeah.
And no updates at this time for Ladai. As far as outreach events, we held four focus groups, I believe, during the month of July. And this is to support our 4-year plan. What we did on July 27th was we held a focus group with the Maui Deaf Friends and the Maui Leaders. That was a really good session that was led by Angela and one of our program specialists, David Nakama. We didn't have enough time to complete the focus group. I think there were so many good input and discussion that they didn't get a chance to finish up all the questions, but we're going to be following up in the next couple weeks to get more input. As far as like number 10, miscellaneous, I wanted to share information because we were talking about FEMA housing and transitions. We did receive a phone call through the mayor's office of a mother who had expressed concerns over her son being relocated from Kihei to Lahaina. So he had gotten FEMA housing in Kihei, and then during his stay in Kihei, he became injured, or he became disabled, and just recently, maybe about 2 months ago, he was told he had to go back to Lahaina. But meanwhile, in Kihei, he was living near his mother and receiving services and supports in Kihei. And then, but she had told us that, he was told he has to go back to Lahaina. And now I can't go and visit him every day. I don't have a car that's reliable to take me over to Pali. He needs transportation. And in order to coordinate OTPT, that's a lot of coordination. And so, so we sent it back to the mayor's office because we felt that this was more of an office of recovery issue, and also there may be some ADA accommodations that he probably needs, because I think one of the things that we suggested was that either the Department of Housing or another agency can work with him to obtain housing in Kihei so that he is close to services and supports. instead of being relocated back to an area where, he's far away from. So I think we're gonna see a lot of that as people are moving back to Lahaina or being told they have to move back to Lahaina. We're finding that they would rather stay in the area that they're currently in, whether it's Kihei or even Kahului or a country area, only because they've kind of established a routine and services and makes sense. So they're connected now and have rebuilt their lives in different areas. So
Especially till those services aren't available over there.
Yeah,
They're-
right, yeah, and that's what we're seeing now too, is a lot of these services are missing.
Yes.
I think that you might, it seems like you've been
Yeah,
in contact with them as well.
Same time.
And then I also wanted to mention that we were told that we would get some rural health transformation program monies in the amount of 390,000 from the Department of Health through the Executive Office on Aging. And it was shared to us that we could use the monies for kupuna care services for adults 60 and over. But we need to encumber the monies by September 30th, 2026 and come up with an innovative program. So, okay, let's go. So what we are trying to do is establish a care transitions program with the local healthcare
I like that.
institutions. So like the hospital, for example, if somebody was being discharged and needed and they're 60 and over and or disabled and 60 and over and disabled. They needed services like transportation or home delivered meals, that we could get that set up for them with the help of the hospital, a transitions care coordinator and a community health worker, and then have them assigned with a community health worker for 90 days so that they can monitor their conditions. And the goal is to avoid rehospitalization,
Right.
and to increase the health outcomes. So 390,000, although it sounds a lot, doesn't really go far.
Yeah.
So we kind of budgeted out. It looks like we may only be able to provide assistance to 100 people with that fund, and each person would be on the 90-day program. But the great part is that they would have a community health worker that they're connected with within those 90 days. So if this is a successful program, there is an opportunity for us to get a second or even third, fourth year of funding. So we'll see how that goes. And then we also coordinated with the Hawaii Public Health Institute Planning Department and folks from the Public Works Department to bring over Mark Fenton. He is a walkability expert and some of our members participated. Frank was there. We had some of the members from our Carole Zoom was there as well. And Talisha, I think she was on the call earlier. She's on the call right now. So we had a meeting with Mark in the beginning. He shared some examples and discussed some different types of concerns, how they could be addressed with collaboration with different departments. And then participants did a walk up and down Mahalani Street here to identify areas of concern. And since this is a road that's set for a future construction project, reconstruction project, it was a good time to get some feedback and engage in some discussion about potential improvements to be. So that was very promising. I think this is something that we'd like to do more often and be able to collaborate with Maui Metropolitan Planning Organization, who was also there. So who knows, and maybe you guys will have a future meeting roadway doing a walk on it with different folks. So I know Public Works was also interested in bringing some future projects and getting input from this commission as well. So that came out of the walk audit that we did last. But that is my report.
Yay. Thank you. Is there any other questions?
Would future walkability things be led by your department still? Like if he came over again, would that, like, you set those dates and stuff?
Yeah, we worked with Hawaii Public Health and so the whole point of that session too was to train some of the participants on how they could lead walk audit. So Carole, for example, or Talisha could also lead a walk audit someday. I think that'd be great.
I think that would be really great. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see that happen more often in different locations to just be able to. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Diana was there too, our ADA coordinator and, but one of the representatives from Public Works had said, hey, can we come to your commission and share some, like, share some future projects? I'm like, yes, always. So, awesome. Yeah.
Mahalo, Wilmena. Okay. Is there any other things that you would like to?
Vice Chair Chen, I just want to go back to Rowena's Casey update. Yeah, same client. I right off the bat know who this is. And it's crazy because he's in Kihei, homeless with a dog.
Oh, he is now.
Yeah, well, he's not living, yes, he's not living in Kihei, but I think because like you said, all his supportive services are in Kihei, that he comes back and he's just living on the street. He doesn't go back to Lahaina much. Because he frequents my nighttime job and he's out there all the time. And so unfortunately, this is happening way too much in the FEMA with those clients that are in FEMA housing that haven't been sent to either Kilohana. I have another client who's fully blind completely. And they took him out to Lahaina as well from upcountry, and just put him in Kilohana and basically just, it is what it is. And now they raise their rent even more now than it was last month, for example. But these kinds of things are happening way too often. I see this in my life and work way too often, where they are just, hey, you're either gonna go back to Lahaina or be homeless, basically, is what it is. And unfortunately, this particular client went to Lahaina, does have a Lahaina address, but is back in Kihei because that's where he finds his supportive services are at, and that's where he's more comfortable. So we've been working on trying to find him housing back out in Kihei that is not tied to any FEMA. But right now, he just told me the other day he's just living his best life with his dog. So.
Anyone else?
Public testimony.
Oh. Okay. Next up, item 8, upcoming events and announcements. Is there anyone there from the public who would like to give public testimony? Seeing none, yes, yeah. Is that it?
Talisha.
Alicia?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Aloha, everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to speak on the walk audit and all the meetings that we had recently. Those were really great. And I hope that we continue to do those in the future. I know everyone there really was excited, and we're really glad that they were being included in the planning and things of Maui. That's all.
Okay. Thank you so much for your testimony. Any questions from the commissioners for Tuesday? Anyone else out there in the public testimony? Seeing none, public testimony is now closed. Okay, our next item, upcoming events and announcements. Again, is there anyone for public testimony? We covered that. Okay.
Vice Chair Chang, September 19th, Aloha Independent Living Hawaii has partnered with Ohana Fuel. If you guys have heard the radio announcements, and if you guys go pump gas at Minute Stop, a portion of the proceeds will go to Aloha Independent Living, basically here in Maui County, to service the consumers here on Maui, Lanai, and Molokai. So September 19th, we're having our second and final car wash at the Wakea Minute Stop. We just had one recently on the 8th of August. So if you guys don't mind, you guys can come out and support me and my coworkers that are flying in from Oahu for this car wash. September 19th starts at 8 o'clock to 12 at the Wakea Minute Stop. Mahalo nui.
The gas thing is, it's ongoing.
Yeah, and the gas thing is ongoing. So if you go fuel, please press the yes button if you want to donate to Aloha Independent. Mahalo nui.
Okay. Commissioner Copperfield, have you had anything else to add or anything coming up?
If Rowena wants to share on the upcoming senior fair, I mean, we're several months out, but the planning phases are starting.
Yeah, we have our senior fair coming up on Saturday, November 21st, and it's happening here at the Cameron Center. And we have our partnership with MEO. They're gonna also be providing a shuttle service to and from the War Memorial Gym parking lot and to here at the Cameron Center. So that should make parking and transportation a little bit easier for those coming to the fair. And we're still working out some details, but we're gearing up and getting excited for it.
What are the times? Sorry.
Oh, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yes. Okay, any other discussion?
Oh, and tomorrow night, La'akea is gonna have their night market.
Okay.
Rain or shine? Rain or shine, she said. Blowing winds, she said. She did say to bring extra sandbags for your tent.
Sorry, I meant to mention that Commissioner Barbosa left at 2:15. We still have. Okay. Okay. We did have, moving on to the next agenda. For next meeting, we did have a testimony in item 9 that testifier Dave Brown, and he's furnished us with an email. Do we want to do any discussion with that?
Just Chair, I don't know if you can take any action on it because it wasn't really agendized item and you know, if the public doesn't have it before you take action. So if you want to agendize it for the next meeting, you can see if this body wants to take any action. I really must have you.
Thank you. That's it. Hello, commissioners, for being here today and
We're talking meeting.
Mahalo, Angela, for all that you do for us. So our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 10th at 12:30. I appreciate all of you. Is there anything else to be discussed? Give I your motion to adjourn the meeting.
Vice Chair Chang motions to adjourn this meeting.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and second by Vice Chair Chang and Commissioner Dr. Thomas to adjourn the meeting until next September. Mahalo, mahalo staff.
Thank you.
Mahalo, Carole.